sending the sample of a symptomatic person who came negative by rapid antigen test, and you have to do the RT-PCR test, you have to take certain precaution, like once you collect the sample and put it in a VTM, that is viral transport medium, you have to make sure that you have tightly put the lid of the tube, and to prevent the leakage you are supposed to wrap the cotton around the lid of the tube and then put it a rubber band and keep that VTM in a Ziploc plastic bag. And then such plastic bag you can keep it in a vaccine carrier or a thermocol box with ice pack so that the 4-degree temperature can be maintained. Remember to fill up the specimen referral form, that is SRF form, completely. The essential fields are the complete name of the patient, address, age and the contact number. Because once the person comes or the individual tested positive, he has to be traced out and his close contact has to be tested for the transmission. For that reason, the mandatory fields has to be filled neatly. In this section, once the sample is received in the lab and patient is critical, he is brought to the OPD with the severe symptoms, we have collected the sample and for the RT-PCR, then there is one rapid RT-PCR test, what we call it as a CB-NAT. The full form is cartridge-based nucleic acid amplification test. In this picture, we can see the cartridge which is there. In that you just have to put the few drops of VTM which is collected, and then that cartridge is put it in that CB-NAT machine, and within 50 minutes the RT-PCR test is being done by that machine. All the reagents which is required for the RT-PCR test are already filled in that cartridge. So you just have to add the 300 microliter sample and put the cartridge into the machine. This is the report which you get it. This CB-NAT test detects the E gene and the N gene, and on that basis it gives the results either positive or negative. Here there is no need for interpretation. The machine itself or the software which is there in the machine itself gives you the positive or negative results. Now coming to the RT-PCR, that is real-time polymerase chain reaction or real-time PCR test. That RT can also be the full form for reverse transcriptase PCR test, because this is the RNA virus and we are converting that RNA into the DNA. So it's a reverse transcriptase, and then we are making multiple copies of that DNA, and thereby we are finding out whether the RNA of that SARS-CoV virus is present in the collected sample or not. So what are the steps which we follow for performing the RT-PCR test? Once we receive the sample, we give lab number to that sample, and then we extract nucleic acid. RNA as well as DNA gets extracted from that sample, and then with that extracted RNA we set up the PCR test. This is the biosafety cabinet where we are open that Ziploc bag and take out the sample, and then we give the number and take it for the extraction. So the person who is working in the laboratory never get exposed to the sample and will never have a chance of getting infection by handling the positive sample. This is the Kingfisher extractor, one of the nucleic acid extractor, automated extractor machine, which within 30 minutes can extract almost 96 nucleic acid from 96 samples. And this is what is the RT-PCR machine, where the minimum 40 cycles we run. That means if in the first cycle in the sample if you have 2 RNA molecule, then in the next cycle it becomes 4, in the third cycle it becomes 8, like that amplification takes place. So there is 10 raised to minimum 30 amplification occurs, and when we say that test is positive. So this is based on the CT value or the cyclic threshold. What is cyclic threshold or the CT value? That means when we run the 40 cycles in the thermal cycler or in the RT-PCR machine, at which number of cycle you can see detectable amount of RNA of that particular sample or particular virus. So that number of cycle we call it as a CT value. When we say the CT value is 25, that means at 25th cycle out of 40 you will be able to see detectable amount of RNA present in that sample in the form of sigmoidal curve. Now, what are the CT values? Usually you will see that there are two different CT values which are being mentioned in the report. So one is usually these are the different specific genes of this SARS-CoV-2 virus. These are the spike protein gene, the gene which is responsible or codes for the nucleic acid, then the one which is used for the code for the membrane protein, and the one which is code for the envelope protein. So the one which is coding for the envelope protein, we call it as a E gene. This E gene is common for the beta coronavirus, that is sarbecovirus. So first we see whether the RNA which we are detecting in the PCR machine is of sarbecovirus, and if it is there, then the next step, like if it is there, then whether out of those sarbecovirus whether the SARS-CoV-2 RNA is there. Then we use one of the specific gene, either ORF gene, S gene, N gene or RDRP gene. So to say PCR test is positive, at least you need to have the kit which includes two genes, E gene and one of the specific gene which I have just mentioned, ORF, S, N or RDRP. Then the CT value less than 35 is considered positive. That means if you see the detectable amount or the sigmoidal curve before the 35th cycle of amplification, then and then only you say that test is positive. See, this CT value should be positive less than 35 for both the genes, E gene as well as whichever the specific gene is used. If it is more than 35 and less than 35, 36 or 37, we give inconclusive report. So inconclusive means what? That means it is at the borderline. You cannot say definitely whether the sample is negative or sample is positive. So in such cases, it is advisable to repeat the test after 48 hours. Whenever some of the kits or some of the labs give the report as presumptive positive, some says inconclusive. Presumptive positive, they give the report when only E gene is present. So in that case also, you are supposed to repeat the sample after 48 hours. But you have to remember, the major drawback of PCR test is that the PCR test cannot differentiate that the gene which it is detecting is from the live virus or is from the dead virus. So that's the reason now ICMR has removed from its guidelines that at the time of discharge there is no need to do the RT-PCR test, because patient is don't have any symptoms, and if still the PCR test is coming positive, it might be from the dead virus, so it has no meaning. So that's the reason they have removed it from the discharge policy. Now in the next session, this session we will see like what is the use of antibody testing. Currently, the antibody tests are used for variety of viral infection diagnosis. Say in dengue, chikungunya we do, or in case of HIV also, we do the laboratory diagnosis on the basis of presence of antibody. But till today, antibody test for diagnosis of COVID-19 is not recommended by ICMR. it is used only for serosurveillance. It can also be used to identify the hidden cases. Okay, and there are tests now which are available for detection of IgM as well as IgG antibodies. Usually the IgM and IgG antibodies appear by 7 to 15th day of infection. More study is required to find out exact timeline at which the antibodies appear and whether it can be used for diagnosis of infection. Now then the question might arise, like, then why are we using it? So currently, as I said, like, it is used for serosurveillance, and those who has recovered from COVID disease and they wish to donate the plasma. In that case, how to select the individual for plasma donation? Then, if the person after recovery from natural infection has developed IgG antibodies, and now currently there are no IgM antibodies in the serum sample, then he is an eligible candidate for plasma donation. If the IgM antibodies are still persist, then he is asked to repeat the antibody testing after 8 days, and once the IgM, the sample becomes, or the individual becomes negative for IgM but still strong positive for IgG, then he is being taken for the plasma donation. Now there are controversy regarding the plasma donation also, because there is a fear that if you use the cocktail or the plasma, there might be chance of adverse reaction, or there might be the generation or the survival, as we say, like survival of the fittest. Then some virus particle may survive and may become mutant, and then that mutant will cause infection or spread the infection. So one has to use this plasma, or in even the cocktail of monoclonal antibody has to be used very carefully for the treatment part of for the COVID-19. That's all for the laboratory diagnosis of COVID-19.